Hi everyone, welcome to round 5 now from the Coventry U135. This game sees 2 players on 3.5 out of 4. It is Drip Drop as white v John Murray as black, who actually does not have an ECF because he's too busy working for Salford City Council, it seems. You know, that dump of a city that's not too far from me actually. And yeah, but he's quite a good player. Estimated at 125 for this event. I played him, I think he had a grade when I played him with 122. Yeah, I played him in the first ever tournament actually, which was the last round of the 2010 Manchester Congress. Both of us on 3.5 out of 4, and I managed to win with the black pieces and got a massive £220 chess check since, which puts some of Crockett's checks to shame, although not all of them, of course. Yeah, it was an interesting game now, which sadly I've blundered, where I think it was quite equal for a lot of it, quite sharp, and then managed to set up an unstoppable mate, if I remember correctly. And our king was a bit open, and he tried getting perpetual, but it didn't quite work, so he resigned, and he couldn't stop the mate. I guess it wasn't too buffer, because of course if you work for Salford City Council, then you should earn you quite a bit of money. And we went through it afterwards as well. I mean, if I lost a game like that, I don't think I'd be able to go for it afterwards. You know, I love going through games afterwards. I mean, £220 is a lot of money out. I mean, I won down many, and that's 22 bottles of wine from Be3 to be precise. But anyway, let's go on the game. I'll stop waffling on. Drip Drop plays as usual, Nf3 Nfe6, D4, G6, C4, and C5. So it looks like it's going to be a Benoni defense, perhaps. The whip dwarf would have played the correct move in this position, which is D5. Then he'll probably respond with, say, D6. Oh, not that. That's rubbish. D6, and then nice C3, E6. And now I would play maybe just E4 in this position. ED, CD, Bg7, and then like Bg3, and we have a very super sharp Benoni line, where I explained in previous videos you've got the queenside pawn majority with the central majority, and there's a few other factors as well which I can't be bothered explaining because I did it in about 10 or 2 other videos at least. But yeah, D5 is the best move. I think also if you play D5, I think there's a Blumenfeld gambit in this position with B5, which is quite dangerous to accept actually. But Bg5 was played, so I bet whip drop which is I was watching. And now I think maybe black should play. I think black should play it, but consider knight e4 in this position. And then say Bishop h4. And maybe just something like Bg7. Because in this position after Bg7, I wonder if Drip Drop can consider Bishop f6, Bishop 6, and e3. Just trying to get a solid position, but I do not think this is a good position to give the 2 bishops up. It's just a fault. E3 was played. CD, CD, castles. I think black should be playing maybe D5 in this position. Sort of like a Grunfeld type move, and the point is to give white an isolated pawn. I'm not sure white gets enough play for it. Say knight C3. We'll wait till white develops his bishop before taking. Castles. In fact, in this position, I can try bishop f6, ef6, cd5, and black has stuff like rook e8 check, and it gets quite messy. The black getting compensation for the pawn. The alternative after d5 is to maybe immediately take and actually give white development to the tempo, and then just castle and get a piece in d5 and try and win the pawn. But he castled. Knight c3. D6, so we've got a sort of King's Indian position now. Bishop d3, knight c6, and now a3. In these annotations, Drip Drop gives 9 castles kingside, complete with a double exclamation point. Now the move, of course, is not a double exclamation point move, but Drip Drop's point is that when he doesn't castle, he usually loses, and when he does castle, he usually wins. I can imagine he probably tells the students, you must castle, castle, and then doesn't do it himself. Of course, castling is good because the e file is semi-open. I mean, it's not really too many threats against the white king, but in this position, I think white should be getting king out the centre perhaps at some point. but the black king never actually leaves the centre. Rook e8, d5, so drop finally plays it, and now knight goes back to b8 when knight e5 is an interesting move. So although black gets double pawns, he gets quite a threatening kingside majority, like he can move his knight and play f5, e4, his bishop open, etc. But knight b8 was played, queen d2, so white wants to get a bishop swap, and they're thinking of ideas of castle long, but after knight b7, he goes b4, a good move, trying to get c5 and bite at the pawns in the centre. Knight g4 was played, aiming to get to the e5 square, rook c1, knight g5, and now chop plays knight e4, d4, which maybe he's not good because he's giving up his light square bishop, and then black's light square bishop gets into game. So better is to actually take the knight. Knight takes and then retreat the bishop. But I think Joe's blown his advantage in this position because now we've got to use like bishop f5. It's not too great. Knight d4, knight d3, queen d3, other knight comes in, queen e2, and queen b6, which is a good move, attacking the knight. Bishop e3, knight g4 was played because there isn't any good discoveries because the bishop's going to be en prise. Knight a4 was played, which is a bad move. Better was to actually try this discovery. And after knight takes c3, queen takes c3, queen takes f takes. White is playing knight c7. And so should move one of his rooks, so rook back to f8. And then maybe castles, and this should be okay for white. He's got a bit of a weakness on the e file, but and black's got two bishops v 2 knights, but I think white should have enough for it. Have a nice space advantage. Knight a4 is played, which allows queen a6, hitting the knight, and after queen d1 to protect everything, knight takes c3, f takes e3, bishop d7, and now drip drops a pawn, unless he plays b5, queen a5, knight c3, e5, very sharp move. So knight b3, queen takes a3, just a pawn up black is, but knight b5 was played, and black actually missed rook ac8. A nice quiet move, but very effective, setting up multiple threats such as bishop takes b5, and after takes, rook takes c1 when the knight in a4 is en prise. I think so, check that, because black's queen's hanging at the end of it. So let's say white does nothing move. What's the threat? Oh, his rook takes c4, so it's a threat. Then bishop takes c5, and he gets quite nasty. Bishop takes b5, let's just winning a pawn for nothing. Knight c3, and then black gives his that's very powerful bishop up, but he does get a nice heavy piece ending, just a pawn up, open file as well. Rook takes c8 was played. Rook takes c8. Chop tries to move his king. Now the rook comes in. Another top engine move by black. So he certainly bounced back from me stealing that £220 chess check off him once. And now white is lost, and he blunders with queen d4. And he's work out the finish for black in this position. It's quite an easy one. It's rook c2 check, simple move. King g3, and now just queen c2. And the fact that drip was rook is out of play completely, and his king is subjected to a scorching attack proves fatal. Attempts to bring the rook in all get mated, because if rook g1, then we have queen f2 check, winning the rook, so the rook's out of play. Now queen e4 was tried to defend g2, but now rook c3, and the e3 pawn can't be defended, so the game ends pretty soon. And black actually misses a forced mate with queen f2 check. After king g4 or g5, queen f5, king g5, queen. What am I doing? Sorry, king g4. So I meant to play queen f5 check, not f5 check. King h4, queen h5 mate. He plays rook e5 instead, which is crushing because white has to give his queen up. And after g4, g5 check, king g3, rook e3 check. And Drip realises he's dropping his queen because he has to give his queen up, so he resigns. So Drip now we can see why Drip gives castles exclamation point, because double exclamation point, because his rook stays out of the game for the whole game. stuck on H1, his king gets hacked in the centre. But usually in tournaments, and the way to win, trying to win them, you usually get like a bad game. So this could be, hopefully he's got his bad game out of the way. And hopefully, maybe he's baked the egg sandwich, didn't quite do the trick this game. But I hope you enjoyed the game anyway, and I don't think Chip Chat was feeling very merry after it. But for now, please leave in the comments some thoughts. Thanks very much.